Well, our next guest certainly had a lot of people praying for him. If you or someone you know has struggled with drugs or alcohol addiction, then you'll want to join me in sitting down with Billy Moore. It's a powerful story of freedom from a man who considers himself just an average Joe. He's written about it in his book called Pathway of Hope. Good to have you with us, Billy.
Well, it's really nice to be here. Thank you.
Now, you're an auto mechanic.
Yeah.
And you say, I'm an average Joe type of a guy, but you are a recipient of something called the Courage to Come Back Award. And here it is right here on the table with us. It was presented by the Center for Addiction and Mental Health Foundation in Toronto. And I think we have a photo as well of when you received that. And who's that with you there?
My two sisters and my son.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to start with that because I wanted to then back up a bit. Courage to Come Back. We want to find out what you came back from. So, Billy, take us back to the younger days, growing up, and perhaps what may have led you into maybe getting off on the wrong track.
Yeah, well, I grew up in a church home with good Christian parents, and I did everything that was expected of me, but somewhere along the line, I got away from the Lord and decided to experiment with drugs. And over time, it escalated, and alcohol, and then harder drugs, and until it ended up taking everything I had.
Well, just looking back now, Billy, what do you think it was during that period of time, maybe in the teen years, that you just felt you wanted to experiment?
Yeah, I was shy. I was a pretty shy kid, and I still am. And I had low self-esteem, and I wanted to fit in, and I wanted to be cool, and peer pressure and stuff like that. It just all combined into just trying to fit in and not feeling good unless I fit in.
Mm. So one of the chapters in your book is entitled Out of Control. And so describe that period of your life. And I think we have a couple of photos of in your younger years as well that will come up. In fact, let's have those photos. You can just tell us who's in them with you. There you are.
That's my dad and my little boy at the time, Tyler.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
that's my mom.
Your mom.
Yeah.
All right. So at that period of your life, you're starting to spiral out of control. Describe what was happening, what your life was like then.
Well, I was smoking weed, marijuana every day, pretty much all day, every day.
Going to work every day still?
Going to work every day. I worked for my dad. He had a garage, and I worked for him, so it was pretty easy to get away with stuff. And I drank most nights, and then it evolved into using cocaine most nights. Mm. And like say through a combination of those drugs and cocktails, it just ended up just making a mess of me. I ended up taking over my dad's business, but I wasn't very good at running a business because I was stoned or drunk all the time. And I got into some major financial disasters and ended up losing everything.
Well, in the book, you make a little list here, stuff I lost.
Yeah.
You call it my first wife, my son, my home, my parents' pride, my sister's trust, my business, my trucks, my cars. And then you say, more than that, I lost my confidence, my self-respect, my hope, my values. Pretty rough when someone has lost hope. What happened that really became the rock bottom for you, where you realized, I got to make a change here?
Well, eventually I had lost the business. I ended up being evicted from the apartment I lived in for not paying my rent. I didn't eat for like 2 weeks. I didn't sleep. I wore the same clothes for weeks at a time. I didn't brush my teeth. I didn't shave. I didn't take care of myself. I had dishes piled a mile high in the sink. I was just a mess, and there was nowhere else to turn. I was one step from living off the street. So a friend of mine told me about a place where they went that helped them, a treatment center. So without much other alternatives, I figured I'd go give it a try, and they would give me a magic pill and everything would be fixed.
So you show up at this treatment center in Northern Ontario.
Yeah.
And what did they say? You showed up at the desk.
Well, I walked into the detox and very you know, ashamed that I was there to start with, and I asked them for help, and he kind of did a double take at me and said, "What?" Because most people come there with a court order or a police escort, and so he said, "Well, we can take you in, but you know, you can't go into the treatment center because there's a waiting list that's 2 months long." So I said, "Well, it's better than nothing." So I stayed there for 7 days, and that's where I believe God reached his hand down to me. And they came up and told me that there was a cancellation and I could go in the very next week.
Someone was praying for you, I think.
Yeah.
So just to kind of go through the story, you went through a 12-step program.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, you had an experience just really walking through the woods there in Northern Ontario. Describe that.
Yeah. Well, when I got to the treatment center, I saw the 12 steps of AA, and I realized how many steps had God in it. And it brought me back to my childhood, and I knew that was Jesus. So on my last day there, that's why I call the book Pathway of Hope, because I went for a walk in the bush the last day I was there, and I was going to go home the next day, and I didn't have a job, I didn't have a dime to my name, and I didn't have anywhere to live. And I was talking to God the best way I knew how, and as I was walking through the bush, there was tall trees on both sides, and the sun shone down right above me, and it was like a spotlight shone down on me, and I felt like God told me, "It's going to be okay, just trust me." And a calm came over me, and that I had never experienced before. And
the cover of the book, when we have that come up on the screen, that was really kind of that moment in your life where you just felt God's presence and almost a physical, you know, light hitting you, and you saw, you know, God speaking to you at that point. A lot of people go through a recovery program and they get right back into it. They fail. They go back to the drugs or alcohol. Why is your transformation different?
Well, I believe my faith in Jesus Christ is what made the difference for me. A lot of people have higher powers, but they're all different things. And for me, realizing that Jesus was my higher power really helped me in getting to the next level that I needed to get to. And some of the statistics are that 80% of people relapse the first time. And so only about 20% make it the first time, and I was fortunate to be one of them with God's help.
It's the Jesus factor, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was very important for your growth to get connected with the church, and you did connect with a church in Cambridge. But just to fast forward a bit, you know, they kind of took you under their wing there, and you started reaching out to others, helping out, you know, with other young people that were probably heading down the wrong path like you did. Tell us about some of the things you've been involved with there.
Well, I got involved with racing against drugs. I had an old off-road truck that I had for a long time, and that was one thing I never did get rid of, and a friend of mine brought it down here for me, and I started working on it, and a couple of the youth got interested in it, so we got involved with Waterloo Regional Police and RCMP, and went to car shows and car show of racing against drugs.
There you are going through the mud.
Yeah.
And so there's opportunity to talk to young people and to encourage them, you know, to stay away from drugs and the kind of pain they can lead to.
Yeah, they became my pit crew, and they learned a lot about life and the ups and downs of racing, which is like life. You know, you don't always win, and it was quite a good experience for all of us.
And also, you know, hold this up. This is something that it led to. It's got a soapbox derby there with the kids. And tell us about that outreach of the church.
Well, the kids that came racing with me, my pit crew, we decided to build a few soapbox derby cars for the little kids and have a little event at our church. So we built 4 cars, and it was all free. And the first year we had 12 kids. We had a hard time finding kids to come, and we had fun. Well, last year was our 10th year, and we had 125 kids racing, and we had over 50 volunteers and probably a crowd of 300 people or something. It's become a very big outreach.
And besides that, you're also helping other adults with the Celebrate Recovery program of the church, which is like a God-centered, Christ-centered 12-step program.
Yeah, it's a good program that is Christ-centered. It's based on the 12 steps of AA as well as Bible verses, and it's been very successful.
Just as we wrap up here, Billy, maybe you can talk to someone, because either someone who is going through a struggle themselves, or they have a loved one, whether it's a son or daughter or a brother or sister, who is going through a battle with addiction. How would you share hope with them?
Well, for the people that have loved ones, I'd say, don't give up hope. Keep on believing that it'll happen. It happened for me. My parents died before I got better, but it still happened. So never give up hope, and just keep praying. And for those that are in the addiction themselves, it's a long, hard road to get out of there. It didn't happen overnight, and you probably won't get out of there overnight, but if you have a little faith and trust in God and really want to get your life on the right track, you can do it.
You're living proof of the miraculous turnaround in a life. Billy, you had some people come around you to help you put it in a book, because they kept encouraging you, you need to write out your story. And here it is, Pathway of Hope. It is on our e-store. You can connect with us. You see the number there to get a copy of the book, or maybe give it to someone else. And it's just your life story of an average Joe, as you call yourself, that God turned around and now He's using to help others who are going through difficult times. And so again, if that's you, you can give us a call on our prayer line as well. Maybe you want to have someone join with you in prayer for that loved one, or for yourself, and you're just crying out to God. You've hit rock bottom. You can just come to Him right now and give Him your life. That's the first step you can take, is to say yes to Jesus, and just say, I give you my life. Forgive me of my sins. Make me a new person. Start me on that pathway of hope, oh God, I pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Give us a call, will you? Billy, thank you so much for being here with us. It's a pleasure to know you, and God bless you in your ongoing work and reaching out to others and sharing that pathway of hope that you found.
Thank you very much.